Meet the 16-year-old who wakes up every day thinking it's June 11th. The ability to make new memories is one we usually take for granted, but without it, we lose the sense of who we are. Time would blend together, and despite going through the motions of living life, every day would be a blank slate as the last. What would you do? Who could you trust? And most importantly, who would you be? The ability to make memories is one we take for granted. Without it, you wouldn't have known you heard the first paragraph of the sentence before. For Riley Horner, life became a constant struggle to piece together the minutes, hours, and days that seemingly vanished into thin air. And it all began on June 11th. But for 16 years before that, Riley was just another girl from Illinois. For a high school junior, juggling friends, classes, and a boyfriend was likely the heaviest thing on her mind. So when the Future Farmers of America arrived in Springfield for their annual convention, Riley jumped at the chance to attend one of their concert events on June 11th. An evening filled with fun and music was exactly what Riley needed to unwind. The energy was high as Riley danced through the mass of teens on the convention center floor, dodging crowd surfers as they came tumbling past. Riley turned her head to make sure her friends were still with her, so she never saw the 150-pound body coming her way. The crowd surfer landed full force on top of Riley, knocking her unconscious and sending her straight to the hospital. Surprisingly, the doctors released her after only an hour or so, claiming the injury was nothing more than a bump on the head. Then she got in the car. On the ride home, Riley began convulsing in the back seat, prompting a sharp U-turn and rushed back to the emergency room. Over the next few hours, another 30 to 45 seizures made things clear. This was no ordinary bump on the head. When doctors stopped the convulsing, Riley awoke to find she had no recollection of anything after her injury. Her parents filled her in on the night's events, though just a few hours later, she forgot all over again. After further testing, doctors determined Riley was suffering from concussion-induced short-term memory loss, a common symptom of traumatic brain injuries. With time and healing, they believed Riley's ability to retain memories would return. They were wrong. In the weeks that followed, Riley showed no signs of improvement. Every 2 hours, her brain would reset to those fateful minutes before her injury. Though she was able to speak and function as she had before, Riley was totally incapable of making new memories. Each day, Riley woke up believing it was June 11th all over again, and that she was still at the FFA concert with her friends. It was like the movie Groundhog Day come to life, though instead of a lighthearted comedy, this was a complete nightmare. "I feel like I'm broken," the 16-year-old shared. "I'm not the same Riley. Anything that I've been through recently, it's just not there. And so when people talk about it, it's so confusing because it didn't happen to me." For the next several months, Riley and her mother, Sarah, traveled all over the country in search of an answer for her condition. Yet time and time again, they were met with the same response. Doctors simply didn't know what was wrong with her. All the while, Riley had become increasingly dependent on a series of notes on her phone that summarized the events of the previous days. This practice, however, proved only somewhat effective. Without her full cognitive capabilities, Riley's chances of living a normal, independent life was slim to none. If she doesn't get her memory back, right now she's probably okay, but a year or 2 years, you're going to see a difference. She'll still be a 16-year-old girl, explained Sarah. At that point, I just see her future is done. Then, on the 4-month anniversary of Riley's injury, something amazing happened. After word of the 16-year-old story was shared online, Cognitive FX, a post-concussion research center, reached out to Sarah with a startling claim. Not only did they know what was wrong with Riley, but they could help her too. And so Riley and Sarah booked a flight to Provo, Utah, to meet with neuroscientist Dr. Mark Allen, who began taking scans of Riley's brain. The results revealed a lack of oxygen to the brain cells as the cause of Riley's memory loss. Luckily, Dr. Allen had a quick fix. "We can coax the system back into working order," explained Dr. Allen. "What happens is that little communication systems break down, and it's fixable. And it's really a minor issue, but it leads to major problems. The ultimate goal is to get the system back online." For the next 2 weeks, Riley underwent regular sequences of coordination, memory, and intense physical exercises to improve cognitive function. By the end of the first week, Riley began making minor food-related memories. Incredibly, by the midpoint of week 2, Riley had recovered nearly all of her memory. It's truly a miracle. I don't know what else to say. Sarah shared on Fox 13. She'll have a future. Following her 2-week stay, Riley was sent home to finish out a 4-week treatment plan, followed by another 4 months of rehab. Inspired by Dr. Allen and those that had helped in her recovery, Riley is now planning a rather unique way of giving back. Having always wanted to pursue a career in medicine, Riley set her sights on becoming a neuroscientist, eager to help others just as the doctors at Cognitive FX had helped her.